Welcome to NarrativeNook Audiotales, where enchanted stories come to life. If you enjoy our stories, please subscribe, like and share to support our channel. Enjoy listening.
Romeo held her hand, whispering, "What did you think of the movie?" "It was all right. Do you think the movie was good, or do I look good?" What a bizarre question. After all, this face was better than any scene in the movie. Hearing Arabella say this, Romeo's mouth curled up slightly. "Did you have a private conversation with Caden last night?" "Arabella, why bring up Caden again? You were gone for a long time last night. Besides the Ministry of State Security throwing you a bone, did you talk about anything else with him?" "Talk about what?" Arabella didn't understand. What could we possibly talk about? For instance, him confessing his feelings to you. When Romeo got closer, his handsome face and charming voice were visually striking. "Romeo, you're so easily jealous." Arabella didn't know whether it was due to her lack of experience or if there really were men like this in the world who could be so jealous. "Can you act more mature?" "I just can't be mature in front of you." Romeo swallowed hard, looking at her rosy lips and remembering the sweetness of last night, and once again couldn't control himself from leaning in for a kiss. Arabella could feel his strong desire to possess her as he held her head, keeping her from pulling away. Romeo gently touched her back and somehow managed to undo the buttons inside her clothes. Arabella grabbed his hand, lifting her eyes. It seemed he was not satisfied with just touching her neck and above. "Bella, I can't help myself." Romeo kissed her over and over and said, "I want you. Calm down, she's on her period." Just then, her phone started vibrating. Before she could answer it, Romeo held her hand. The phone kept vibrating, breaking the silence, as if it wouldn't stop until it was answered. "Let me answer the phone." Arabella finally got Romeo to let go of her hand. She looked at the screen, and it was Caden calling again. Now, Romeo's jealousy was even more intense. He called his fiancée every day. It must be about the patient from last night. Arabella speculated. Romeo clearly didn't believe it, and his eyes were full of jealousy. "Put it on speaker." "Fine." There's no way she and Caden could have anything to talk about other than medical matters. "Bella, are you busy?" Caden's voice came from the other end of the phone pretty quickly. That nickname flashed a hint of anger in Romeo's eyes. Calling his fiancée so intimately? Was he asking for trouble? "What's up?" Arabella asked. "Well, there's something I want to tell you in person." Caden seemed a bit nervous, paused, and asked, "Are you free right now? Let's meet somewhere." "You don't have to work today?" Arabella asked. She remembered he was on duty last night, so he didn't have to work during the day. But what can't be said over the phone? Why did he need to meet in person? Now, a dangerous smile appeared on Romeo's lips. Caden wanted to confess his love to Arabella? Great, just great. "I want to talk to you face to face," Caden said, somewhat hesitantly. "You free?" "Just spit it out over the phone, I'm all ears." Caden's eyes dimmed slightly. After a moment of silence, he finally spilled the beans. "I'm heading abroad." Arabella seemed taken aback. "Just like that?" "I've quit my job at the hospital and my flight's this afternoon." As Caden said this, his smile had a hint of bitterness. "Where to? Why in such a rush?" As soon as she asked this, Romeo gripped her hand tightly. Looking up at him, she saw a look of warning and jealousy in his eyes. Arabella had a hunch he wasn't telling the whole truth, then her expression changed slightly. "That's not the real reason you're leaving. He often worked overtime and it was par for the course for him. He wouldn't just get up and quit for no reason, so something felt off." "Romeo, she sure knew a lot about him, didn't she? What happened?" Arabella asked softly. Caden hadn't expected her to be so sharp. Pulling the wool over her eyes was proving to be a tall order. Before he met Arabella, he had indeed been interning at Hope Hospital, but he never worked overtime. Arabella's arrival changed everything. During that time, Grace Murphy's condition worsened. Arabella was at the hospital every day, sometimes in the morning and sometimes at night. In order to spend more time with Arabella, he volunteered for overtime and even took special care of the old lady. Sometimes, after performing several surgeries a day, He would skip meals and spend a lot of energy handling the old lady's sudden illness and researching her treatment plan. But back then, he didn't feel tired at all. On the contrary, he felt happy to be able to have meals and chat with Arabella. But at some point, Romeo started showing up by Arabella's side. After Grace's death, Arabella stopped coming to the hospital. Their frequent interactions turned into no contact at all. He used overtime to numb himself. Many times, he picked up his phone just wanting to hear Arabella's voice, but he couldn't. He wasn't the one. Arabella was now Romeo's fiancée. Staying at the hospital seemed to only add to his pain. "You're overthinking. I just don't want to do this job anymore, that's all." Caden didn't tell the truth. Arabella didn't push further, but his sudden decision left a sour taste in her mouth. "What's your plan for the future?" Arabella asked. "I'm the only kid in the family," Caden laughed. "Once I'm done having fun, I'll take over the family business and let my folks chill out." He was the only child in the Newton family. His granddad was a renowned doctor, and his grandma was a well-known medical professor. His dad ran a pharmaceutical group ranked among the top 3 nationwide, and his mom owned more than 30 private hospitals. He grew up in a wealthy environment. Being a doctor at Hope Hospital was indeed a bit of a raw deal. "Maybe we'll cross paths in the business world," Caden said with a smile. "Your Bella Health Innovations is a formidable competitor to the Newton Group." At this, Romeo's eyes landed on Arabella. She founded Bella Health Innovations? She never mentioned this before. Caden knew about it, and he was in the dark. He was taken aback. Noticing Romeo's gaze, Arabella lowered her head, her expression a bit awkward, not expecting to be busted again. "You better buckle down and learn about the corporation's operations management. Business is a battlefield, and I won't go easy." Caden chuckled, his voice charming. "Right, you should be happy too. I believe Romeo will take good care of you." Nothing more to say, so you hang up first. He wanted to chat with her more, but feared she might find it annoying. After hanging up, Arabella was the first to speak up. "I didn't know who you were back then, so I stole your deal." Well, it wasn't exactly stealing. Half a year ago, she used some tricks to get the pharmaceutical factory, which was supposed to cooperate with Macmillan Corporation, to switch sides and work with her instead. Romeo always hated when people went back on their word, so that factory was in quite a pickle. "How many secrets do you still have that I'm not aware of?" Romeo was also glad he didn't make a move on Bella Health Innovations back then, or he would be in deep water now. What other secrets could there be? Arabella put away her phone and casually said, "You heard the call. Caden isn't causing any romantic issues. Don't let your imagination run wild." Otherwise, she'd have to keep mollifying him, which was a pain in the ass. Romeo could discern the regret and reluctance in Caden's tone. It was clear he still cared about her. But since Caden didn't spill the beans, Romeo respected him. At least this way, he and Arabella could still be friends. Sometimes, liking someone didn't mean he had to say it out loud. "Isn't it noon now?" Arabella suddenly said to Romeo, "I need to go back to school after lunch." "In such a hurry to go back? What's up?" Romeo asked, pulling her into his arms. "Got other plans?" What plans?" Arabella wanted to make him a few more outfits, but she couldn't tell him now. She'd surprise him later. If she told him now, he would definitely refuse, not wanting her to tire herself out. "To bond with my roommates. I can't keep neglecting them, right?" "Neglecting me for your roommates?" Romeo gave her a punishing kiss and said, "I'll take you back tonight." "Now? No way. It'll be too late at night." She had to start a new round of extracurricular activities tomorrow and barely had time to make clothes for him. By the weekend, he would be all over her, wanting her to be with him. "Now you can only be with me. Who else do you want to be with?" Arabella thought for a moment and said, "Has the new maid arrived yet? How about I cook you lunch?" Of course, there was a condition. He had to drive her back to school after the meal. Romeo noticed her scheme. Willing to cook as a bargaining chip meant something or someone important was waiting for her at school. "My cooking skills aren't too shabby and you should consider it carefully. Don't let this opportunity slip through your fingers." To speed up his decision, Arabella started to count down, 3, 2. "Okay." Arabella smiled. She knew he would agree. Romeo, after lunch, he would like to see why she was in such a hurry to get back to school. Arabella quickly cooked 3 dishes and a bowl of soup, handing him the dinnerware and saying, "Taste it." Her dishes might look plain, but they're super scrummy. Romeo took a bite, then his eyes lit up. He didn't expect Arabella's cooking to be such a hit. "Yum," Romeo complimented. "Is this your new party trick? Cooking?" "Nope." Arabella hadn't exactly earned any Michelin stars, but she had a grandpa who used to be a big shot banquet chef, and he passed on all his tricks to her. He taught her so she could whip up something nice for him whenever she had free time. Back then, she worked so hard to learn that she almost sliced her hand off. Just thinking about it made her tired. "I guess you've been roughing it, eating at my place." "Arabella? Is the food cooked by the chefs at my place hard to swallow?" Arabella realized what he was getting at. "No, they do a great job too. But not as great as you." Romeo decided to dock their pay and get them to up their game. Did they really deserve a 10 grand paycheck every month? They can't even hold a candle to Arabella. Arabella had no idea what he was thinking and served him more food. "Eat up if you like it, and I'll cook for you again in the future." Hearing that, Romeo paused, his eyes softening. Arabella mentioned the future again and even talked about cooking for him. No need to trouble yourself. How could he let her cook? He was already over the moon this time. Even the dish he usually dislikes tasted heavenly. After dinner, Romeo parked his car near the school, and Arabella was about to get off when he pulled her into his arms and kissed her. After getting off, she wanted to return to her dorm to draw, but unexpectedly saw a familiar figure surrounded by a few girls. "Serena, this is our school. What do you think?" Who invited Serena for a tour of Westerly College? Serena looked around, laughed dismissively, and didn't think the school Arabella was attending was all that. "Serena, you're getting prettier, so you really know how to take care of yourself." Serena gave a small smile and gracefully responded, "Oh, stop it. There are plenty of people more beautiful than me." "Serena, how can we mere mortals live if you say that?" A girl immediately clung to her hand and whined, the daughter of the nation's wealthiest man calling herself ordinary. "Did you think about how we ordinary people would feel when you said that?" "Exactly. Serena, you're being too modest." Several girls chimed in, showering her with compliments. "If you're ordinary, why would Romeo propose to you? Men are all about the looks. Your parents are loaded, and you're calling yourself ordinary. And the key point is that you're so pretty, with such good skin. Look at me, I stayed up late last night and woke up with a little pimple this morning." Just as Serena was wondering how to show off her skincare products, the conversation swung in that direction, and she immediately pulled out a bottle of flawless serum from her bag. "Here you go." Serena handed it over with elegance and grace, smiling as she spoke. "This product works wonders. Just apply it on your pimple, and by the next day, it will shrink." The girl gaped in surprise at the brand of the serum. "Serena, this is from SV and a tiny bottle costs hundreds of dollars. You're just giving it away so casually. This is beyond rich." Serena had seen this reaction coming, so she gently smiled and said, "My parents bought me too many. I have around 8 or 9 bottles of this serum at home. I can't finish them all, and it's a waste if they expire." Every word she spoke just screamed wealth. "Your family is loaded," the girl exclaimed, green with envy. Exactly the effect Serena was aiming for. She maintained her smile and said, "Take it and use it. Don't be shy. If you get a chance, come visit Summerfield College. I'll treat you guys to a me." Seeing her generosity and understanding, the girls hurriedly thanked her. "Serena, you're the best." "Thank you, Serena. You're so kind." Arabella was uninterested in such displays of wealth. She just wanted to head back to her dorm to draw. Taking a different route, she was unexpectedly stopped halfway. A group of girls stood menacingly in front of Arabella. Noreen, the leader, was clenching her fists and angrily asked, "Arabella, do you dare to meet me on the back hill?" There were cameras everywhere in the school, so she wouldn't dare make a move. The girls behind her were the ones who had been humiliated by Arabella and Kelly last time. Seeing Arabella alone, they were itching to get their revenge. "Do I need to go all the way to the back hill just to hear you talk?" Do you think I have that much free time? Arabella looked up, clearly annoyed. Move. And if we don't? Noreen crossed her arms and said, if you're so capable, why don't you crawl between my legs? The girls started laughing, intentionally blocking the way. Arabella took out her phone and said, then I'll just take a picture and show it to the counselor. Even getting a big demerit and having to write a reflection letter didn't make you guys regret it. So tell me, why did you want me to go to the back hill? Say what you just said again. Noreen gritted her teeth and said, stop filming, put away your phone. Arabella kept filming their faces and even started critiquing. Your skin is clearly dehydrated. What good will slathering on skincare products do? One of the girls started panicking, subconsciously touching her face. How did Arabella know she wasn't using any hydrating products? No wonder her skin was still dry despite all the skincare products. So she needed to hydrate first, but how did Arabella know? Your complexion doesn't look so good. Have you been having indigestion lately? Arabella started assessing another girl and said, eat less unhealthy food and drink more water. And you? What are you laughing at? Look at the pimples on your face. Instead of blocking the path here, why don't you guys go take better care of your skin? You're only freshmen. Hearing Arabella's words, one of the girls actually stepped aside, pulling out a mirror to look at her own face. Noreen was fuming, but before she could say anything, Arabella had already strutted past them. Arabella, the Enid you bullied yesterday is my cousin. I'm warning you, I won't forget what you did to her. I'll definitely get you back for this. Just you wait. Arabella hadn't expected Enid and Noreen to be related. Their personalities were strikingly similar. Next morning, all the freshmen headed to the temporary training base set up on the back hill for some belly-crawling drills. As soon as Arabella arrived at the base, a bunch of classmates greeted her enthusiastically. Good morning, Bella. Hey Bella, rise and shine. Bella, you made it. Arabella was left with question marks floating around her head. Did she know them? Bella, thanks for giving us a day off yesterday. We had the AC on all day in our dorm yesterday, it was bliss. Thanks for dealing with Noreen. A crowd of strangers surrounded Arabella, complimenting her on her skin and how pretty she was, all with friendly faces. Jerome blew the whistle. Attention. Everyone immediately stood up straight. Today's exercise was belly crawling. The wide field allowed all the freshmen to participate at once. Let's go over the rules. Jerome glanced at everyone and spoke seriously. As soon as you hear the gunshot, you'll hit the deck and start to crawl, aiming for the red flag at the finish line. There will be 6 instructors on the watchtower looking for targets. Your job is to keep a low profile and avoid making too much noise. The guns are paintball guns. If the instructors spot you, they will shoot, and anyone has to start over from the beginning. So, unless they pass today's test and grab the red flag at the finish line, they'd be crawling around in the grass all day. Other schools have singing and dancing for extracurriculars, and we're here busting our asses every day. It's so hot and they want us to train in half a meter of grass. This is unbearable. Jerome glanced at Arabella as if asking, need to take a rain check? Arabella just stared back at him and asked, do I need to take a rain check? She seemed like a tough cookie. Jerome blew the whistle to signal the start of the race. All the students dove into the grass to start crawling. This grass is so prickly. Help, it's too hot. So many mosquitoes. Some were moaning and groaning, and a fair few got hit by paintball and had to bow out. Arabella hadn't even crawled a few steps forward when she felt people crowding around her. Bella, cover me. Bella, I want to stick with you. Bella, take me with you. These were the same guys who had been singing her praises earlier. One of the instructors spotted a student fanning himself and took a shot, leaving Arabella speechless. Don't make big movements, follow my lead. Under Arabella's guidance, her team of 7 or 8 students made good progress. Up on the watchtower, a stem-faced man held a pair of binoculars, surveying the scene below. Minister, have you spotted your sister? How was he supposed to pick her out from this crowd? It's too hard on a girl to train in this scorching heat. Some people just don't know how to be considerate to women. A few subordinates murmured behind Chancel, who gripped his binoculars tightly. He couldn't tell which one was his sister. He had asked David earlier, but David just played coy, saying the most beautiful student in the whole school was her. He scanned the field, seeing only a sea of crawling figures. He couldn't tell who was who. "Minister, you're too eager. Wouldn't it be better to wait until she's resting to go say hi? Have a drink first. Maybe your sister got hit by the paintball gun and has already gone back to restart." Jinx, can his sister be an ordinary person? Even if everyone else gets hit, she won't. Even when you're sucking up, you've got to stick to the fact. Look, a girl got the red flag at the finish line first. A slender and beautiful figure grabbed the red flag at the finish line. It seemed to be a girl. Such long leg. Such a slim waist. Such a great figure. Chaucel looked back at them. Was this what they were supposed to say? He picked up the binoculars again to check. The girl who got the red flag had left with 7 or 8 classmates. He couldn't see her face. It was said that the first one to get the red flag could go to the rest area to drink water and rest. A few classmates surrounded Arabella. "Arabella, you're amazing." Sure enough, following the top scholar leads to smooth sailing. None of us got hit by the paintball gun. Did we rub off the luck of the top scholar? I decide to follow Bella's footsteps from now on. Arabella suddenly realized that Kelly wasn't by her side, turned her head and said, "Aren't you coming?" Kelly, who thought she had been ignored, was slightly moved. Bella didn't forget her. Even though more people liked Bella and Bella had new friends, Bella still had a place for her in her heart. She hurriedly walked up and hugged Arabella's arm, as if to say she was Bella's best friend. The rest area was a bit far from the bushes, and there were shrubs around. All the students' water cups and backpacks were here, unattended. Arabella opened the pink rabbit water cup her mother bought for her and was about to take a sip when she suddenly noticed something was off about the taste. Kelly too seemed to have sensed something. She looked at Arabella, and Arabella was also looking at her. They both realized at the same time that there was something wrong with this cup of water. Who drugged the water? And it was a hypnotic drug? What did the person who drugged it want to do? In front of everyone, let them faint. And then what? I'm so thirsty. Luckily, I made flower tea today to quench my thirst. Joyce was about to drink water when Kelly suddenly grabbed her wrist and said, "Wait, let me smell it." "Huh? Smell it? What kind of weird behavior was this?" Joyce didn't think there was anything worth smelling in her water, but since Kelly wanted to, Joyce obediently handed it over, but she was a bit puzzled. "Everyone, don't drink yet." Arabella stopped the others while beginning to check their water cups one by one. Only the water of the 4 of them in the dormitory had problems. Everyone else's water was clean. Only targeting the 4 of them? You don't have to think about it to know who did it. After a while, Noreen and a few girls walked toward them. They all looked very tired. "I didn't expect Arabella to be so far ahead of us. They wouldn't notice the water problem, would they? Have they drunk the water? Noreen, if the problem is exposed, will people find out we did it?" Before the last girl finished her sentence, Noreen glared at her, scaring her into silence immediately. The drug was something that Noreen had smuggled in. There's no way anything could go wrong with it. As long as Arabella and her crew took it, they wouldn't remember a thing, even if they got beaten black and blue. Thinking of this, a smug grin spread across Noreen's face. In the lounge area, Arabella was sipping water, her long neck tilted upward. Her movements were graceful and pleasing to the eye, like scenes from a well-edited movie. Not only the boys, but the girls sitting next to Noreen were also mesmerized. There's no denying it. Arabella was stunning, and every move she made was captivating. "I'm so thirsty." Kelly finished her water and looked at Arabella. "Bella, let's get some more water, it's so hot." "I'll come with you, I just ran out of tissue. I remember there's a little store at the foot of the mountain. I want to come too." Seeing them all gathered together was like a gift from the heavens for Noreen. She had thought of so many excuses to lure them to a secluded spot. But now, it was like taking candy from a baby. "Noreen, they're leaving, should we follow them? They'll have to pass through that little path to get to the back mountain. There's no surveillance there." "This is a golden opportunity." Noreen smirked. "Let's tail them." Along the way, Arabella and her crew were all chatty and laughing until they reached the little path. Suddenly, Arabella stopped and massaged her temples. "Bella, are you okay?" Kelly asked anxiously. "Are you not feeling well?" "I'm a bit dizzy." Arabella seemed unsteady and leaned on a nearby tree. "My vision is kinda blurry." "Me too." Maya also leaned on a tree, her head shaking. "Why does everything seem blurry? What's going on?" Before Kelly could figure it out, Joyce suddenly collapsed. "Joyce, are you okay?" Joyce had passed out. Kelly thought to herself, what a great actress. Maybe she should consider joining Piper Group's entertainment company after graduation. Then Kelly also pretended to be dizzy. "I feel so dizzy. What's happening? Are we getting heat stroke?" "You've finally fallen into my trap." Noreen strutted over, seeing them all collapsed and defenseless. "How do you like my drug?" "Noreen, it's you." Kelly pretended to be angry but couldn't fight back. "What have you done to us?" "Of course, I drugged your water," Noreen smirked. "Today, I'm going to teach you a lesson. Noreen, let's start beating them up, starting with this one." A girl with short hair pointed at Kelly. "No rush, in a minute, they'll be out cold." They would wait until the girls passed out before making their move, otherwise if they screamed, it could attract attention. Time was ticking away, a minute had passed. Noreen lifted her head, her smug smile was about to break out, but then she noticed Arabella was already standing. "What the hell? The drug wore off that fast? I got it on camera." Joyce, who had supposedly fainted, checked her phone and exclaimed excitedly, "Perfect." Not only Arabella, but the other three girls also stood as if nothing had happened, looking at Noreen with interest. Noreen was stunned. "You didn't drink the water in the bottle? Impossible." Noreen had clearly seen them drink it, especially Kelly. She had finished all the water in her transparent cup. "Noreen, did the drug not work?" But it looked like Arabella and her crew had seen through her plot. "Looks like Joyce got everything on tape." In the video, Noreen confessed to drugging their water. "Whatever." "No security cameras around here," Noreen commanded. "Go beat them up and snatch that phone to delete the video." If things got to the supervisor, she just had to cry a river and deny everything. No cameras here and no one knew the truth, it all depended on what they said. "Bit off more than you can chew." Arabella glanced at her friends, signaling them to step back, then casually looked at Noreen and her crew. "Bring it on." She didn't want to waste time. Ignorance is bliss. In the past couple of days, Noreen had been learning some handy tricks from her brother and was ready to show them off. But seeing her friends being taken down by Arabella one by one, her skills obviously weren't up to scratch. Could Arabella have been trained in mixed martial arts? With that thought, Noreen clenched her fists, unsure whether to step forward or back off. Noreen's friends, injured by Arabella, huddled behind Noreen and asked, "Noreen, use your secret weapon." "She's gone too far." Arabella raised an eyebrow, casually watching Noreen, looking relaxed and confident, as if waiting for her move. "Here's the deal," Noreen hesitated, speaking weakly. "You've already beaten up 4 of us. Let's call it a day. We won't hold it against you, but you have to delete the video you just took." Noreen's friends was thought whether Noreen was showing weakness. Kelly and her crew, was she out of her mind? She's losing, and she still wanted to make demands? "Cut the crap, come here." Arabella clearly wasn't planning to let her go. She lifted her chin, signaling for Noreen to come over. She looked both cool and tough. Just as everyone thought Noreen would charge, she suddenly bent down and bowed, saying, "I'm sorry. I was wrong. I want to apologize to you." Everyone was stunned. What was going on? Was Noreen apologizing to Arabella? Was she admitting defeat because she knew she couldn't win? Noreen's friends, what a disgrace. Suddenly, Noreen jerked up, slashing her hairpin towards Arabella's face. Everyone gasped, but it was too late. "Arabella, watch out." Unexpectedly, Noreen's apology was fake. She's such a snake. Did Arabella realize that Noreen had hidden the hairpin in her hand and was pretending to apologize to slash her face? With just one kick, Noreen was sent flying a few meters away, crashing into a tree before tumbling onto the ground and even coughing up blood. Now, Noreen's friends were completely shell-shocked. "Noreen, are you okay?" "Arabella, you've gone too far. You actually kicked Noreen until she spat out blood." Do you know who Noreen is? Have you heard of the Winters family of Summerfield? They're tight with the Macmillans. I'm telling you, today you not only offended the Winters family but also the Macmillans. Noreen, don't be scared. I'll take you to the health center now. We'll get a doctor to check you out. Director's office. Belinda rushed in upon hearing the news, pointing at Arabella angrily and saying, "You've got some nerve." Earlier, Noreen had been taken to the school infirmary. The nurse said she was perfectly healthy, with not even a minor injury to be seen, but Noreen insisted she had been vomiting blood and had a severe stomach ache. "Mom, Arabella must have bribed the school nurse, that's why they're not telling us the truth. You can't let Arabella off. I really did vomit blood and all my friends saw it." Her friends also hurriedly nodded in agreement. "Auntie, Arabella did start a fight. We were just going down the hill to get some drinks, but Arabella and her gang deliberately blocked our way. Before she started hitting, I warned her that Noreen is from the Winters family, but she hit Noreen the hardest, showing she doesn't respect the Winters family at all." Hearing this, Belinda was fuming. She turned to the director and asked, "Is this the kind of outstanding student your school is cultivating?" "Belinda, please calm down. Let me understand the situation first." The director was sweating buckets. Then he looked at Kelly, clearly frightened too. "Kelly, you are innocent. This has nothing to do with you. You can leave first." "Hold on." Belinda's sharp gaze fell on Kelly. "Why does she get to leave?" Her daughter had said that there were 4 people bullying her, and Kelly was one of them. The director whispered, "She is the young miss of the Piper family." "The Piper group?" Belinda began to feel a bit apprehensive. That was a top-tier financial group. Their family held a lot of weight in Summerfield and nationwide. It was said that the Piper family had a princess who was dearly loved by everyone in the family. Could it be the girl in front of her? Thinking this, "It's Kelly, I didn't recognize you earlier." Belinda's attitude suddenly softened. "You can leave first, this has nothing to do with you. If you have time, please give my regards to your parents." Such a quick change in attitude. "As far as I know, Belinda and my parents are not close," Kelly retorted. Belinda's face turned sour. The young miss of the Piper family really didn't mince her words. "Sending regards? That won't be necessary." Hearing Kelly say this, Belinda's expression was not as friendly as before. "Kelly, are you trying to ignore the friendship between our 2 families? I heard about last time you bullied my daughter at the event and even pushed her into the lake. I believe Mrs. Piper is a reasonable person, and she wouldn't condone such behavior from the younger generation. Yes, my mother always taught me to be kind to others, but if the other party is a beast, I would definitely tell me to show no mercy." "You." Belinda gripped the armrest of the sofa, clearly furious. "What we need to resolve now is the matter of Arabella's bullying." The director didn't dare offend either party, so he could only choose to deal with Arabella and her gang. "Can you guys tell me clearly what happened?" At that moment, Chaucel was leading a few people towards the director's office. "Boss, do we really need to meddle in this?" The boss was using a telescope to look for his sister when he suddenly saw a few girls surrounding another 4 girls. Those 4 girls were almost all on the ground, with one leaning against a tree, looking quite uncomfortable.
Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.